Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Greetings, citizens, and welcome to another adventure of the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. My name's Travis.
And I'm Patrick. And today we've got a special guest here on the Mystery Men episode.
Patrick and I tried to record this, just the two of us, and then the door just got kicked in. And Dave said, "What are you guys doing? Talking Mystery Men?"
B5 I smell the blood of Champion City men.
Oh, Jesus. Well, welcome. My sense that this is going to be the longest episode of my life.
Yeah.
3 beautiful golden hours.
I've told people in our side group chat that if they don't hear from me by midnight, the people that live close to Dave need to go over to his house and kill the power.
If you even call Jarvis, it's going to take him an hour to get over here.
Well,
I think a real pain.
Yeah, that's right. So it is time for Mystery Men from 1999. I mean, there's no better place to start than Dave. What's your history with Mystery Men?
Oh man, it's so fun to be on this side of the table. People asking me. No, I was there like the day one. I remember watching this, helping my dad at work and being in the break room and the TV's playing these clips. I'm like, that Ben Stiller, I've seen him in funny things. And I remember some of those actors, obviously Kel Mitchell from all that. And my dad's like, oh yeah, that's Pee-wee over there too. So it's like, I was like, wow, there's all these characters in this movie. It's coming out. So yeah, me and my dad saw it. I think I brought a friend. I don't think he gave a hoot, but like, I think the two of us were definitely walking out of there, like laughing and quoting along with this. So really, I don't think there wasn't that many people in the theater, but I mean, since and you look at the box office, but then again, you look, it's 1999. People are happy. They were watching Iron Giant. They were watching The Matrix, Star Wars. They had plenty to work with. So it's like, it wasn't like a cold box office year at all.
Yeah. I mean, that's 99 is one of those well known as one of the best years in movies, you know, Fight Club, The Matrix, American Beauty. Tons of movies came out in 99 that are well regarded. So yeah, I
actually read the book. That's what's called Best Movie Year Ever.
Okay.
Brian Rafferty, and he goes over all those hot movies of 1999. So I loved it. So I mean, and it's great as he has the chapters organized. So if you're like, there was a movie that you weren't a fan of that came out in 1999, just skip the chapter. It's great. You're just like, all right. But then when you get to like Fight Club, you're like, baby, the fucking 2000s are back. You're all in. Like you're getting all into that Gen X mindset. Yep. So it's such a fun book. Highly recommend people check that out.
So I'll talk about my history. I cannot remember when I first watched this. Like, I just don't have a super strong memory of seeing it for the first time. I know that when I did eventually see it, I enjoyed it. You know, I understood that this is, you know, it's kind of making light of superhero movies. It's kind of, you know, it's poking fun at aspects of it. I think I understood that, like, oh, this is like fringe comedy. This is something different. And if I had to guess, I would say I may not have seen this until maybe 2001, 2000, maybe. Like I suspect that maybe my now wife, you know, then girlfriend, Amanda, may have shown me this movie because I know she enjoys it too.
Okay, cool. So her and I are on the level about that.
Yeah. Good. I mean, she doesn't do a podcast 5 minutes at a time about it, but you know. Like I have this vague memory of like sitting down with her being like, here's a movie I enjoy, you know. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, at some point I saw this movie and enjoyed it enough that I've seen it, you know, several times over the years, but I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched this movie, you know.
That is interesting how you approached it with not knowing and thinking about, oh, it's making fun of comic book movies. And this came in that lull between Batman and Robin and X-Men, where I would say commercially, you don't want to be a comic book movie. And it's funny, throughout since then, at these podcast conventions, even at some comic book conventions, I'll maybe talk to somebody and we'll mention Mystery Men. And it sounds like comic book fans didn't watch this as a comic book movie. Like
Right.
they were kind of like, if they were a Superman fan or Batman fan or some other French comics, I felt like this barely made the radar. It was more approachable from people who liked French comedy.
Yeah.
And they liked it because of the actors, not because it was a comic book movie. So they were like, I like Janine Garofalo. Oh, I've seen Ben Stiller's show. And then, it's like the kids are like, I know Kel Mitchell's always funny when he does a funny character.
Sure.
And so that's what fans originally got. And it's probably its most diehard of fans are probably the people that like it as a French comedian. We don't get a bunch of good comedians in a movie anymore. Whereas comic book fans, they're kind of in a lull. They didn't care. And then X-Men, they're like, oh, I'm back on the train. And then Marvel, and then everything else was Snyder and all and Nolan.
Yeah. Patrick?
Yeah, I did not see this in theaters. I know that for sure. I probably saw it maybe, right as it got released for, rental or something, just out of curiosity, because I liked spoof movies like Hot Shots, Airplane, things like that. And I was a big Pee-wee fan when I was a kid, so intrigued. But I'm pretty sure I didn't see that in theaters.
Right.
But I mean, Ben Stiller I'm always hit or miss with, so it was more the intrigue of seeing Pee-wee Herman. And I heard that the guy that did a Simpsons voice was in it. So
Hank Azaria.
So I was interested from the previews and commercials from that, but I think I actively did not want to see it because of Ben Stiller in the commercials.
Okay. I get that.
Like,
I'm hit or miss with Ben Stiller too. Like I love Tropic Thunder, but I'll take a pass on a Zoolander, So,
it's very in the mindset of Zoolander, it feels like, as far
I don't know.
as really diving into a character.
I really like Ben Stiller in this movie. This is probably one of my favorite roles of his. But I think Janine Garofalo is my favorite character in this movie. But we can get into all that. I did want to touch on the one standout thing from this movie that I remember. It's sort of related to something we talked about with Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, because that's this same year, or and it's this summer of '99 where I'm off school and I'm watching a lot of MTV's TRL, because of like whether I like the music or not. I'll watch a music video with Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera, several times a day or whatever. But I remember the Smash Mouth song being in heavy rotation for this, and it being like a trailer for the movie. So there are scenes of the movie that are, burned into my memory and I associate with that song. And I enjoy the song because of its association with this movie and because of that music video that plays like a trailer. So that is probably the one thing that I remember most about this movie, from the marketing and leading up to it. So
now I know All Star from Shrek.
That's it's kind of gotten
fuck Shrek.
That is so funny. Yeah,
I'm just saying that's how I think of it now.
I know.
The people that didn't know this was from Mystery Men and they missed that line. They knew the song is an earworm. So since '99 to 2001, I believe is the first Shrek. So it's like for those 2 years, it's just playing on the radio. Everyone knows it. And I'm trying to remember if it was actually, I don't even know if it was Rat Race before Shrek. I'm trying to remember when Rat Race came out, because I believe they might have played that, but they also did, but Smash Mouth is the concert at the end. They all get to the Smash Mouth concert.
Okay.
So it's like,
right.
so you have the Smash Mouth and popcorn movies.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it gets attached to Shrek at that point. And I feel like everyone just goes, oh, it's now, they just remembered so long. It's from Shrek when he kicks open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a meme now. So that's why it's always Shrek in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard it in this. I'm like, oh God.
I mean, and I love when you see someone on Facebook or Twitter and they're like, hey, make me think of a song in 2 letters or whatever it is, or 2 words.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Someone posts Somebody, and everyone's like, we all know. There's no other song that will elicit a reaction like that.
It's going to be the new Rickrolled pretty soon, I think. Like when anyone starts something, it could go straight into Smash Mouth song.
And I feel like there could be some Gen Z kids who don't even know about the Rickrolling. It's been that long ago. I actually explained here's for us older millennials and our comedy. I explained to my dental hygienist just the other day a song on the radio had a familiar rhythm and a beat. I'm like, I don't know this song, but this sounds like someone's almost referencing another song. And I go, it's the Numa Numa song with the Numa Numa kid that used to dance on his webcam. And so like I'm like with the thing in my mouth going, I'm trying to say this. Like, Numa Numa. She's, huh? Takes it out. I'm like, this sounds like the Numa Numa song. She's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, I think I am too old, like, and you're too young to know this. Pull up on my phone, and she's like, yeah, I never heard of it. Doesn't sound song's familiar. I'm like, yeah, this bit is way like older than you.
Okay, I may be too old to know that reference then.
It's like it's one of those where it's like, like I feel like the Numa Numa kid, Chocolate Rain, and Star Wars kid, they were like that original just like viral person online meme.
Right.
I must have missed. I am so not hooked into memes at all.
I mean, maybe that's better for your mental capacity. You know, you put better things in there. Like you use that storage in the attic for way better things. Where I have I have my own internet memes up here.
It was that was straight gibberish to me. I had no idea what you're saying.
Half your audience has no idea. The other half is like, Jesus Christ, Dave.
Let's date this podcast. Patrick, have you heard of Hawk Tua?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm not a social media person either, so I'm a double whammy where I don't understand memes unless my daughter tells me something.
Well, I hope your daughter does not tell you about Hawk Tua.
Okay.
No, I hope not. God, no.
Right now, she's into Skibidi Toilet.
You know what? Fine. It's inoffensive. I'll leave. I hate it, but you know what? It can be better than something really vulgar.
Oh man,
it's classic toilet humor.
Oh man,
God, I sound like an old man because I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about.
Honestly, you're living a better, healthier life. You really are.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what Hawk Tua. It sounds like Hawk and Alugi, but
you're real close, man. You're real close.
Jesus. Okay.
The last little.
So anyways, Mystery Men.
Mystery Men, baby.
Okay.
So one of the things that I thought about throughout this whole movie is how good it looks. I didn't look up what the budget was or what they spent, but like when we fly into Champion City, you can tell that they use miniatures and some CG modeling. I think it helps that it's like pitch black, middle of the night, but it all works. It's like it feels like in the best possible ways. It feels like the Burton and Schumacher Batman Gotham City stuff. It feels like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
At times in this movie, it feels like Dark City. But that's just like the city. The city looks great throughout this movie. There's so much detail. I even get like shades of Watchmen when Zack Snyder built a block of Manhattan in a stage in Vancouver, and then he built some Vietnam set pieces there as well. It's like there's so much detail in these sets that they built for this movie, and it's all on the screen. And there's so much going on. Like I said, production value alone.
Yeah.
When you've got a room, it kind of opens on this, senior citizens club, and there's just like a sea of old people all in costumes, and like their costuming budget for this is insane.
What's great is you can have someone in a sci-fi trench coat right next to somebody wearing 60s colored sweaters.
Yeah.
And no one's batting an eye. It all seems to flow. And I think that's amazing. And I honestly think that the Lakeside Diner should be in a top 10 movie diners.
Oh, yeah.
Because I keep looking at it and I go like, it's so good and yet so different from the usual diners we usually see. They're one lane. It's one lane straight and built like a train car. And we have like the silver line where this is like we have so much glass and windows. You have this elevated view of the train tracks, of the bus terminal, people walking around you, and there's just neon signs that come in through, and train tracks that come in through the windows. I'm just blown away by it.
So, Travis, I kind of wrote down the same thing you did about Burton and Schumacher, but with kind of characters of Adam West era.
Okay.
Like, I got like an Adam West kind of kooky vibe to, like, especially the intro to the old folks home.
Yeah.
Personal favorite is the bar with all the medication and IV bags.
Yeah.
But it was a jarring entry into the world, because I was like, okay, we're going, glitzy, Schumacher-y kind of gothic Burton, and then right into like weird red-eyed goggled villains with like I don't know, the Shriners convention. I didn't know what was going on. Like, it was just goofy, like from the get-go. So.
And that's Artie Lang of like SNL fame.
Yep.
Just being absolute. I mean, and you could always imagine, like, they would try to get, probably if they had a bigger budget, they probably would get more SNL characters, just play these bit parts, or they could have played like more smaller villains, the way Eddie, I cannot remember what her last name is. Izzard, yeah. Eddie Izzard. They would probably if they had a bigger budget, but they spent it well on the sets and costumes. But they could have had like more SNL and other like Second City players. You could see immediately pop in here. They would be those little crooks for them to fight.
Yeah. It'd be a good role for Jack Black as well. And in this era, it's kind of surprising that it's not. But
yeah, you'd think between him and Jimmy Fallon, they would like have Hank Azaria and like Ben Stiller, William H. Macy on, and get them to like reenact the scene. All for like what, the audience of 10 of us that want a Mystery Men sequel. Like Jimmy Fallon's like, hey guys, really wanted a sequel to Mystery Men. And I'm like, I hate that it's Jimmy Fallon doing it, but I'm happy that he's doing it.
Yeah, and I honestly I forgot most of this scene. It's like I said, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. So for some reason, I was expecting a Captain Amazing to be the first hero on the scene here. I don't know why I was surprised that it was the mystery. Well, we'll get it. Never mind.
The original three.
That these guys show up, and then of course they kind of bungle it, and then Captain Amazing has to come in and save the day. That reminds me, by calling them the Mystery Men, it reminds me of sort of the Watchmen. Do people call this team the Mystery Men? I mean, I know it's a running thing through the movie, but do you think of this team as the Mystery Men?
I think I think that news report would get around, and I think Dr. Heller, they'd go back to Dr. Heller's lab, and he'd call them that. Kind of like what they, and like maybe Sphinx would still be making more dumb names, and then maybe Janine Garofalo would say, "Oh man, but I would like to represent," and like I feel like that the entire joke would just carry on as an epilogue, and that's beautiful. That's just beautiful. But I mean, like, it's. I think we watch it the way a Champion City citizen would look at the news broadcast and actually agree, because like they're in the back murmuring to themselves, so none of what they're saying is getting picked up, and would cut back to that report and she would say these Mystery Men. I think people remember, remember those the Mystery Men guys, they were outside Casanova Frankenstein's, and so they would talk like that,
because it's like I mentioned, Watchmen, like the team isn't called the Watchmen, they're either the old team are called the Minutemen, and the newer team are the Crime Busters, but no one says that. Like in the movie, no one says either of those phrases. It's they're so I think it's misleading to the public or whatever, the general audience, that the team is called Watchmen. But so I kind of wondered if it was a similar thing here, because I'm not familiar with the comics. I don't know if there's a running gag in the comics of like, what do we call ourselves? Are we the Super Squad or the any of that? I don't know if there's an element of what the team is called.
Not really. So I had Sean, because Sean knew more of the comics. He probably was one of the few people I knew that actually approached it as a comic book fan of the Flaming Carrot stuff. Yeah. And the short of it is, it's like the creators of this series wanted other up and coming artists to kind of put in their like, I have this one joke schlocky character.
Yeah.
And it was like, the idea was like, they could just kind of get them in a series and like kind of like, let's get this off of my chest. He's a dumb guy. He does a dumb thing, and we're gonna have him fight crime. So like the episode, or the one issue I remember is it was a couple characters and like the spleen, but the spleen is just, he's just a grimy guy. There's no, and that's it. Like, just, this is the spleen. He looks like that, and they're fighting guys, and they have like a rocket launcher and a gun in a New York junk pile. It's kind of like a non-issue. There's no big story. The issues kind of felt like, I want to tell this one shot or this one character. I got these little ideas, and the idea was like, you could kind of like help the artists would like help get your guy in this stuff, and you could have like this running bit of a character people liked it. But like I said, the whole thing was short-lived, so this was like, so Flaming Carrot's already an indie comic, and this is a spin-off off of that.
Okay,
so that's how like deep in the rabbit hole we are. So whatever this license, I'm sure, got picked up a while ago with Flaming Carrot, it probably wasn't expensive, and it probably was like, came in a package deal. But somehow through some other thing, Sean told me that there was a crossover there of legality between like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Flaming Carrot. I forget how, but he was like, there could be a shred of a way that you could get the Mystery Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the same page. But
I could see that.
Yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think the Paramount Viacom gives a hoot.
Yeah,
they're like, we got our Turtles. We're gonna reboot it again. We're gonna have now. But Seth Rogen, he'd be crazy enough to actually want to like ask, hey, am I allowed to do a bit? Can I have an animate Mystery Man and get the remaining cast a voice? He would be the crazy enough to do it. So maybe there's and Ben Stiller, he's staying busy with Severance. I think, and then every time they get some of those actors on, they always, at some point, they ask him about Mystery Man because of comic book movies. So it's like there's a little, it's like a heartbeat. Once in a while, I see a little blip. It makes on the radar.
So I like when we meet Captain Amazing. I love the idea of a corporate sponsored superhero.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous. He looks like a NASCAR driver. And that's 100% the point. He's meant to look like, just like, this is what superheroism in America would be like, I think, in the real world, and I love the idea of that. It's funny to me that this came out in 99, way before, the MCU kicked off and all the Nolan stuff, the Snyderverse. Like, this should be making fun of those movies, so it's funny that it came out well before, because I guess what this movie would be spoofing, if anything, is like Batman and Robin and some of the Superman franchise, but like that's been dead now for years. So it's an interesting, like, it's not really making fun of anything, because it doesn't really have, I don't know,
well, there was the Batman credit card that Clooney had.
That was real camp. That was real camp. That's camp. This is like this is like satire,
because it's like, I don't think this is making fun of anything, because there's no snark to any of this.
No,
it is played earnestly. So I don't know. It talking about his sponsorship stuff, I think that's a super funny little detail.
All right. Mine's a big topic. I don't want to overwrite this. But what I'm saying, but what you're saying is that this is like, seems like it's writing, and it seems it takes it so seriously, and it's very ahead of its time. And it's a shame that, like, I feel like we've had all these years with Marvel movies, and rarely do regular citizens who are not our Avengers ever talk like Champion City people do. Champion City people do. They talk in a way where they kind of like go, oh yeah, that hero guy. It feels like when they do it in Marvel, it's always like, I heard the big green guy stop by, and they almost wobble their head as if like, hey, I live in a universe of. It's like, but Champion City people just talk normally about it.
Yeah,
and it's a shame that Marvel's yet to kind of like, you've made a whole storyline where the characters exist and they're in New York and they have a tower, but like, you always want to make, but every time you have someone who's a supporting character, never talk like any of these people in Champion City. And I think Marvel should do. I think to juice up Thunderbolts that they keep saying is going to come out at some point. I think they should do that with Wyatt Russell's U.S. agent. That would make so much sense if he had like just lean into it and Marvel puts like maybe they put like U.S. Army and stuff like that. Like, oh, he's sponsored and like
1-800 Go Army on his back.
Like because I know, look, let's be honest, Marvel, to get a lot of their big props, they get contracts from the Air Force and the American military so they can have like Captain Marvel jump around on a tank.
Yeah.
So it's like, look, we know they're getting sponsored. Would the Army and U.S. Force be okay with like, hey, could you, in a satirical way, sponsor it? We can make knockoff logos if you want, but it would be great if they had like the Yellow Army and like he had all of them, Navy, Marines. Like he doesn't make sense. Like, wait, where's U.S. Agent from? He gets all the military.
Which branch is he part of?
I think that would be so good because, like, I feel like they had Julie Louis-Dreyfus and she could kind of interject that like tongue-in-cheek dark comedy to it, and I think that would be somewhere to go with Thunderbolts. Don't just do what if Avengers been edgy, like have another nice little twist to it.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
Thank you. I mean, it's
So for the sponsorship thing, I don't know if anyone else. I wrote down. It made me think of the Incredibles.
Okay,
because they have like all those issues with, and more into the second Incredibles, but covering the cost of their heroics.
Okay,
and eventually they become sponsored in the second one by that billionaire guy.
Okay,
right, yeah.
And I was thinking, it kind of reminds me of the Incredibles in that sense, where actually in reality maybe they would need sponsors to cover the costs of serious destruction. I know he's supposed to be like Batman and a billionaire, but
Lance Hunt, is that what his name is?
I know it was Lance. I can't remember his last name.
I think it's
in Mystery Men, Lance Hunt.
I love the so after Captain Amazing flies in, he saves the nursing home scene, and he's in the limo with Ricky Jay, and they're talking about well, you've got no villains, and he starts talking about, well, Casanova Frankenstein, I love the bit where he's like, he's got those eyes, I can't do it, but no, the spoilers for the end of the movie, like this is the most villainous scene in the movie where Lance, or Captain Amazing Lance Hunt, decides, I'm going to free a supervillain or help free a supervillain so that I have something to do, so that I can make a name for myself again and stay relevant. Like this is the not darkest part of the movie, but this is a big problem. If your hero is like, we need more villains, but I love that this character chooses to do this. So
what I see every time now I look at Captain Amazing, or I should say, and the other way around, I see Homelander from the Boys TV show. And I know you and I have mentioned this earlier. We said, if you like Mystery Men and the Boys, like they kind of feel the same. And the Boys TV show is a lot closer to Mystery Men than the comics was. Comics were very edgy.
Yeah.
Where the Boys TV show is done satire. And there's just, like Captain Amazing and a Homelander, outside of like the different superhero power levels.
Yeah.
Like it's a guy, it's this bleach blonde, perfect looking man with a jawline in a big suit that he's a advertisement for a corporation, and he needs a public persona to look good. For Homelander, it's a very psychological, like he's unstable person. He needs and loves, and he will kill you. And I'm thinking about Captain Amazing and Lance Hunt, and I'm like, if you wanted to go down a dark rabbit hole, you could maybe make the idea that like Captain Amazing might have put somebody away or hurt somebody if it was a financial situation where it's like, if I do this, it's the more justice way, but Lance Hunt loses $1 billion, or this person could go in the ocean and never come back up. And Captain Amazing can say, I knocked the villain out and he's out of the world, and they go, okay, great, and he doesn't have to like worry about it.
I think I went more wholesome route.
Okay,
with my comparison.
I get it. Yeah,
I went Megamind.
Oh, okay,
because he basically gets bored and creates his own superhero.
Okay,
that backfires, but it's the same kind of like selfish kind of. Oh, I got nothing to do. I need something.
Yeah.
So Mystery Men's been inspiring a lot of different things.
I think it honestly has. I really feel like I almost really feel like somebody in those interviews when they talk about Pixar stuff, DreamWorks, when they do superhero stuff, and when boys, I feel like Anthony Starr should be like, hey, I just want to let you people know that like I kind of molded Homelander a little bit after Captain Amazing in Mystery Men because I feel it. I feel like he definitely took a little bit there. His certain mannerisms and how he's like, when Homelander does that, it feels like when Greg Kinnear does that.
There's a scene with you talked about the lakeside diner, and when the heroes are like licking their wounds sort of thing, and it's the first time we're at the diner with these guys, and I love these scenes, the scenes of them just being people with each other. That makes the whole movie for me, when they're just sitting around talking about stuff. And the action stuff throughout the later part of the movie, like, it's all fine, but I like when they're just being themselves and talking about this stuff, not going out and doing it. So I think there's some of the best scenes are just this group kind of figuring out what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I can't get over how good this diner looks.
I love when the shoveler returns home. Just this, like, he's living in this like pastel 50s home.
Yeah.
He's got this 50s haircut, just very clean cut guy. Like, William H. Macy is just perfect in this movie. But I like is it a joke? I don't know. I like it though, that he's in this interracial marriage. He's, father of these 3, like, I guess, mixed kids. Like, it's visually, I don't know. It's fun. Cause his character, that mold that they're obviously putting him in, is, based on something, from the 50s that you would not see. So it is a fun commentary, I guess. I don't know, but I like it.
It gives me Captain America, Superman kind of Boy Scout vibes.
Okay.
As far as like his personality goes.
Oh, yeah.
Did this come out a year or two before Pleasantville?
Oh,
because I'm like, if you think about it, William H. Macy, he's built for Midwestern American white dad. Like, he's got the face for it, and we've seen him play that both straight faced with Pleasantville. And then he does, in Shameless, he's like the worst drunk dad you could possibly have. And in this one, it's kind of like, he is like a father, but it's of an interracial couple, and he's not the dominant partner. He comes home, and his wife, she's like, when are you going to take off the outfit?
Right.
Meanwhile, you can see a glass case of silver and gold shovels.
Yeah.
And I want to know about that shovel. I want to know where he won those award shovels. And I'm guessing that silver one might be the one he might take out at the end, because it looks like a cleaner shovel than the one he currently has. So I'm thinking that glass case is one of the shovels he gets. And I love his kid saying, holding a shovel, I believe in you, Daddy, while wearing a Captain America shirt. I love it. Is this kid's like, I love Captain Amazing. And every night my dad's out there fighting crime. His mother, don't encourage him. It's like so good that the writing is. And I love that camera POV. The one thing, Kick Usher, I know he hates filming this and he likes, but his commercial sense of filming, I love those rubber gloves.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. You could feel as if she's your mom, she's your wife, and she's telling you, knock it off.
I like there's a moment where both gloved hands are on his face, and he kind of looks down like, what did you just clean with those gloves?
Yes. And there's some of the lines like, well, it's my vest too. I bought it for him.
Yeah.
He's his son's baseballs. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
See, I found the POV jarring.
I like
whoa.
it. Yeah.
Like, they do it a few times in this movie where I was just like, but that first one in that house, I was like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I think that says something. Like, movies we watch today, it's rare when you see a new camera angle. Like, I was blown away when I saw Ambulance, Michael Bay, because he's like, I'm putting high-res cameras on these drones. We're flying them up buildings, back down, and under police cars. And I was like, whoa, this is a roller coaster.
I looked up Pleasantville. It was the year before this. It was 98.
Wow. So he's already doing another
kinda
take on that.
channeling maybe some of that character in this. So
Yeah.
I like we get to play off of that, then we get the Blue Raja's home life, and you find out that it's this guy, he's putting on this whole act and he lives with his mother, and he's he's this guy who's very typical, I think, of someone nowadays who lives with their parents, and just leave me alone, mom, and don't snoop around my video games, and leave me alone.
I was impressed by his room for a guy that's stealing silverware from his mom.
Yeah,
he had quite the setup.
I think about that. I think he might. I think he must like love going antiquing with his mother or something, or
yeah. Oh yeah,
or he gets her to buy it, and she's like, oh, it's like a nice piece of thing, and he knows like, oh, historically this is very accurate too. So he's trying to get all this unique stuff, and so he's probably had her bankroll half his furniture. And she's like, it looks nice, but Jeffrey, you should be doing something, or she doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Which I love. Is like she's so proud at the end when she realizes he has a purpose. He's not just being
good.
She just thinks he's getting high smoking marijuana. But oh man, it's I don't want to say he's cultural appropriating, and he kind of is, but I feel like he is sincere about the knowledge of it. Like he doesn't, like he approaches it and he doesn't approach it in disrespect if you don't know it. Like he's not like some old guy on a couch like saying like he could rattle off like every World War II plane. Yeah. And it's like, dude, you were born like in 1950. Like you didn't live that war. Like, like it's not being like, oh, I'm a pro with it. It's like, dude, you weren't a vet. Yeah. You're just some old guy. I think he's like, look, he might just live for the adventure of the East. And this is a different universe. So like maybe India and like maybe it's a different universe where it's better. I don't know. It's more adventurous.
Right.
Because I don't know anybody in the 90s who is like interested in going to exploring India and British history like that.
Yeah, I like his commitment to it though, and his I like that he does explain it a few times. I think at least twice.
Except for the blue part.
Well,
I love if you know your history, it really makes sense. I go, you know what, man? I guess I don't know my history.
Yeah.
He got me.
I get it for the accent and British rule of India, but you could have thrown a blue handkerchief somewhere. I don't know.
Come on, Jeff.
Come on.
I mean, if blue has some historical significance that I don't understand, that's just asking too much for me.
You threw a spoon at the guy, Jeff. I just love that line. It's such a good retort. You threw a spoon at the guy, Jeff.
Can you throw a knife every once in a while?
Not stab, man.
Knifey
boy. Yeah.
I love the for as much of a movie that about these three guys and then the team that they assemble, I still love that we get a scene with Casanova, Frankenstein, and Captain Amazing, and when Casanova gets out of the insane asylum with Captain Amazing's help, he goes home, he gets cleaned up, he then blows up the asylum, thereby bringing Captain Amazing like right to his door. And I love the way these two play off each other. Well, I knew that you would know that I would know, but I didn't know. I love all that interplay. I love how well they know each other.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, turn off this device and all that. But
you get the background that Captain Amazing's kind of a blowhard.
Oh yeah,
and just doesn't know as much as he thinks he knows.
Yeah, doesn't know how to. Is it Nemesis or Nemesis?
Nemesis.
Yeah. And like actually asks Casanova like,
what's the
what is it? I like that these two. These two are friends. In a weird way. Who else could be friends with either of these guys but each other? It's kind of like a Batman and Joker sort of thing where they need each other.
Yeah, good. And because Casanova, when he sees what I love is that Casanova is kind of like he's Harley Quinn, his psychiatrist.
Yeah.
She's falling with him. She was voting to parole him.
Yeah.
And if Captain Amazing Lance Hunt did not walk in, chances are he might have not gotten out that day.
Right.
But you could smell that he's a week away from breaking out. Like he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'll give them this parole hearing to see if I can get out clean, and I'll probably blow up the place and make my escape next week. And then here comes Lance, who gets him off easy. And I love how he's never scared of Captain Amazing. He is so excited that he has his new knowledge. He's got his psychofraculator. I'm almost interested, like, because you're right. We never see this in movies. It's an origin story of a villain, an origin story for a hero. They first meet. Chances are the hero wins, villain's dead, and then he doesn't come back for a sequel. In comic books, we can have that. We can have them fighting over and over again. But most of the time, they never play the joke up of like, I know this and you know that. So I'm always curious about how did Casanova look or act before going into a psych ward to like, did he become crazy like the scientists? Is he just crazy enough where his freak mind could just pick up the psychofraculator and go, oh, I can build this. This is not that hard at all. It's there's so much intricacy to his museum, or not his museum. Well, his mansion looks like a museum of all these old things, and you're like, man, this guy was always a Class A freak. God bless him.
I mean, the name itself tells you all you need.
It is beautiful.
Smooth talking mad scientist.
Yeah.
God, it's so good. We know how good we had it. He's got the disco room. He's got his disco boys in the disco room.
I love the disco boys.
Yeah.
They are so good.
They got the best intro music. Like, can't go wrong.
Yeah.
I was a personal fan of Greg Kinnear in this when he gets spritzed with the chloroform.
Yeah.
And Tyson
maybe
dive on the floor.
Yeah, he's like, dang.
Oh, dang. Oh, darn.
And he's just like, yeah. What?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Portable. I love he says it. God. And yet again, look at his museum. Keep seeing it. His mansion, just the amazing production art here.
Yeah.
God, I wish we'd go to a convention and like to at least have one of these rooms be built to scale, or the diner or something. I would love to just take a walk around in the set. Yeah,
that's his mansion. Does feel like something out of a Burton. Like this, that stuff like that makes it feel like a Burton movie that you're in. This weird time. You don't know, like, is this set in 1999? It's not. Yeah, it's vague. It's all the cars are old. It's a interesting world that they built in this movie. I don't know. I dig it though.
Yeah.
So the next scene is the real winner for the best scenery.
Which one?
The junk shop.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sally's junkyard. Oh my God.
Yeah, kid.
It looks exactly like you would think it would look.
Yeah.
Like I had to pause and look around. Yeah.
She looks like someone
She's very
Anne
bad
Ramsey.
Lady from the Goonies. Yep.
Yes, Anne Ramsey.
Yeah.
She gave me that vibe, and the close-ups really.
It's
jarring.
It's so it's like commercial filming. Yeah, commercials were filmed like that, where everything's just elongated.
Here's the beef.
Yeah, I think it makes for great close-ups, and it makes that junket on the powder keg line so good. I think my dad loves it. Like if you say the word junket around him or say the word junk, he will say it like Sally.
Nice.
You go, junket now.
I really like Ben Stiller's character. I like Mr. Furious. I love the whole ticking time bomb of rage, and how often it's shut down, and just treated, as it's not taken seriously by anybody else.
I like how the stress balls saved her life.
Yeah, exactly. I love this character. There's one downside at the end of the movie I'll talk about, but they talk about, like, why don't we? I guess at this point they know that Captain Amazing has been abducted. They need to save him. They try. They get beaten up by the Disco Boys, and then that's when they decide we need to recruit. Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Oh, the spleen.
The spleen is
the spleen, who is like the first person you find out that has powers.
Yeah.
So far, seemingly the only person so far that actually has a power. So I do like that, because as far as I know, Captain Amazing it's all in the suit, right? Like he's just has a rocket pack and just there's no superpowers there. I believe,
to the best of my knowledge, it's just he's just a billionaire who's built an exosuit that can fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like to note like which characters actually have powers in this movie.
I think that's what's great, because it gives legitimacy to, like, anytime someone mentions a hero, you're like, there's a 1% chance that they actually know what they're doing. Because when that's what they hear first about Kenan Thompson's character, the Invisible Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, I'm going to my room alone with 3 strange men.
I love that.
Beautiful shot, love it. Father is gonna look up for the newspaper, doesn't care. And that's what people play. And I like look into that. I'm like, is that how he became invisible? His dad just ignored him so much that he just compositely became that. I don't know. But but he knows that networking, and he keeps saying those names. And then we have that pool party, and then you see, like, no, most of these people are jokes. This is all Weekend Warrior stuff, and like, they all just want to come out to party and keg up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what threw me off with the Sphinx. Having an actual badass ability, like
he
cutting
has powers.
guns in half.
Yeah,
because otherwise you got an invisible guy that can't be invisible unless nobody's looking, and a guy that's got a flatulence issue from a gypsy that cursed him or something.
Yeah,
gypsy curse.
And then everyone else is just good at something.
Yeah,
except for Mr. Furious, that gets confusing towards the end. But I don't know what's. That may just be adrenaline, I guess. But...
Right. Yeah.
Hey, you looked at a city bus once, Roy.
Oh, I love that.
I pushed it, and the driver had his. I loved it. Just he's like had so much doubt in himself. He wasn't even. Oh shit, we lost him.
See, that is my favorite part of the character.
Oh yes,
is when he is depressed and doesn't believe in anything after he kissed a girl for the first time.
Yeah, he really is. God.
But,
God, he's just a little bit of that incel, like, or internet person, God. But he gives
me 40-year-old virgin vibes.
Yeah,
a lot of the time, especially with the cringy conversations he has.
Oh God, with the
waitress.
Oh man,
he's too observant for his own good. That's the problem. Because he knows about Captain America or Captain Amazing. He's like, the glasses. No one believes him. The glasses.
Yeah.
And then he's like, he wants to. Yeah, he perceives her magazine. He's just too observant for his own good, and just everyone's just like, you're a lot right now, man.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Roy, it makes no sense. Captain Amazing, Lance Hunt wears glasses. Captain Amazing doesn't wear glasses.
He takes
them off when he transports. Then he couldn't see.
God damn it.
I did enjoy that they each had a little piece of tissue in their nose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like they had the exact same nosebleed kind of going on.
I didn't notice it in the other two. It's obvious with Furious, but I didn't notice it with the other guys.
Yeah, everyone's got one for whatever reason.
I think Furious took a pipe right to the face.
Yeah.
From Tony P. Oh my God. And that's what you say about the guns they have. I really love that this movie doesn't harp on like guns, and we get to actually like they make a joke about, you use guns, like wow,
yeah.
You guys are
what does that have to do with disco? Yeah,
I love that because I feel like we watch a lot of superhero films, and it's like, if the superhero doesn't specifically have it, usually they have some kind of gun technology or stun technology.
Yeah. And
everybody's like, bad guys and Hydra agents, they're shooting guns, and our Avengers they're shooting, trank darts or something, And it's just like, no, these superheroes in this film, all the good guys, they don't use guns. They have some wonky ability, and the bad guys, well, that's how the bad guys are bad guys. They just use guns. They're one-trick ponies.
Yeah, none of the bad guys have superpowers unless, I guess, Casanova's just smart and suave, I guess.
I mean, that's it. They're just gangs, They just
they're all
do
gangs
bad things
with a theme.
With a theme.
Theme.
Yeah.
Except the Disco Boys theme is kind of weak.
Yeah. I want to talk about the tryout sequence.
Yes, please.
Because it's a lot of fun. I mean, instantly you see Dane Cook before he was even.
Yeah, before he had the Super Shocker, whatever.
Yeah. Several years before his first comedy album came out. So I don't know what landed him this role, but so he's obviously a standout as the Waffler. But my favorite is seeing Doug Jones as Pencilhead.
Pencilhead, yeah.
Doug Jones, like he's now he's in, he's Saru in Star Trek Discovery, but I mean he's in most of Guillermo del Toro's stuff as either Abe Sapien or the Blue Lagoon monster. God, he's been in Tim Burton's stuff, in Batman Returns, he was one of the clowns, and he's so much stuff. So I love Doug Jones. But yeah, go ahead.
I know. I was just thinking like the Dane Cook thing for me did not age well.
Okay.
I think my tolerance of him has tainted that piece. So it was a bit much.
Yeah.
And he had a long tryout.
Yeah, he gets a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but
the guy, I will say this. I remember going through some interviews. I can't remember where I found, but the guy who plays Squeegee Man, he's a writer. He's a comedy writer.
Okay.
And I forget his name, but he is a very known comedy writer. And if I look him up later, or we look it up later, we'll find out. But he essentially said, like, they got a casting thing and they just gave people these costume pieces and no one really had a thing. And he said he actually was helping. Everyone was kind of like trying to giving everybody a little backstory that they could do when they got up there. And he said he was like essentially helping people in line, like punch up like what their characters could be. So it really felt like everybody had, maybe they gave a little bit, they had a name, and they just found some best pieces. And because Dane Cook, being a comedian, probably had he had enough time on the line to figure out what he was going to be.
I love PMS Avenger. I only work 4 days a month. Any of you guys have a problem with that?
No.
No.
And then comes the bowler, baby.
That's right.
So I don't chalk her up as having a superpower.
Okay.
Because the ball, her dad, I guess, has the superpower.
The ball is possessed by his
Carmine the bowler.
Carmine the bowler.
And baby bowler.
I love the bowler. I love I love her backstory. I love when she's talking about her dad. I seem to remember something, odd about his death. Yeah, when they said that he fell down an elevator shaft onto some bullets, I had some questions.
Yeah, I mean, her superpower is essentially be able to communicate with her father's skull.
Yeah.
Or she's crazy, but we see that the skull does fly. So we're kind of like, we should assume that her dad is an old bowler guy who talks. He must talk in an old man voice. I could just imagine. And I because like clearly he says something about Blue Raja. No, he's not a kami nor a fruit. Like, it's just like her father's skull is like, who is this guy next to you who won't shut up at the British Empire?
I enjoy the part where they're like, "So you put your father's head in that bowling ball?" She's like, "No, the guy at the pro shop did."
Yeah, so
I love stupid jokes like that.
Yeah.
There clearly, like, the more I watch this movie, the more I think about that dialogue. Her father's skull must have been on a mantle somewhere, talking to her, or
yes, father. Yes, I will become a bowler.
Yeah, or like it's like telling her to dig him up and stuff, and she's like, she can't, and so like she's annoyed. She wants to go to night school. She wants to get on with her life, and her father won't shut up about, I need you to avenge my death. So like there's a way of like Mystery Men. The first act is just this whole timeline of her like, I don't want to be a hero, but then she gets into it, and so we don't even know if she likes bowling. Like she might just do it because her dad's telling her how to throw.
And she has a pretty clear, like, I need to scratch this off my list. I need, to avenge my father's death against Tony P.
Yeah,
and once that is completed, she's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, that was the agreement. So like it's like if there was a sequel, there's a chance that she's just not in it, or her character is like written out and then she comes back in or something.
I
the
do
third
like
act.
that, at the end of the movie, that her father, the bowling ball isn't destroyed. You like it, you
Yeah.
assume it's going to be. So I do like that
Yeah.
she could continue if.
Yes, we're all very thankful you saved the day. I'm sure we'll be hearing about it for the rest of our lives. I love, you can imagine he won't shut up still. She's like, I just want to go back to night school, you ass. I'm tired.
One of my favorite sequences, and it may be because it was so heavily featured in that Smash Mouth video, but when they first go out as a team and smash up Casanova's limo,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that is most of that. What I remember, that
Mhm.
is most of that music video.
That's their first victory.
Yes,
Put some
Yeah.
gravitas
Drink to
on
that.
I love it. It plays so well. They work well as a team. It's an actual victory. Like they manage to keep them locked into the limo. They smash the windows. They scratch up and dent up the car, and but it's
most of them.
Yeah.
And Busy Boy and Furious lacking on the production, but
they're
fork
still helping
scraping
each
on the
other.
car. Yeah. I like the fork scrape personally. I think that really cheesed off Casanova.
Oh yeah.
He got it in just at the end. I loved it.
I think the spleen got the best of them.
Well, I think oh yeah, this is the one where he throws the fork and it happens to land in the lock button.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, okay.
It works.
Yeah.
Furious is basically just throwing a tantrum on the car.
Just trying to rip off the Corvette logo.
Yeah. But I do like his dialogue with Casanova where he's talking about Pantera's box.
Yes.
And he's like, don't correct me.
It makes me angry.
What did he say? He said something, it sickens me.
It sickens me. That's right. I like his yell when he does go into Mr. Furious mode. That yell is the best.
Yeah, I'm glad he practiced that.
Yeah. No, I love this scene because it is like they get away and Frankenstein gets out of the car and he's just kind of like laughing at the damage. Like, what did they really do?
Yeah. And he doesn't see them on his radar. He has Captain Amazing. Yeah. He has all the cards, his fraculator. He doesn't really get mad until a fish fork is no match for my machine. Like, that's when he is out. Now he's mad. They got into his house. They messed with his fraculator. And that's when he's pissed. It's that. That's when he's like, all right, I have to make sure that I put these plans in motion now. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm watching. Yeah. Where they trash the limo. I love it. It's such a good. It's so good.
Yeah. I like that they go to a bar afterwards to celebrate. And it's kind of they still are coming together as a team.
Yeah.
And then, the spleen sidles up to Bowler. And he's like blowing kisses at her. She just takes a moment. Spleen, I'm sorry. It's never going to happen.
There's not enough alcohol. I love that. There's not enough alcohol.
Sorry. And then he just like, slinks back and
the woman is a tiger. But it is like before we had the Avengers was like, oh my God, they eat shawarma together. It's like, hey, Mystery Man, they beat up a car and they're like, hey, it's time for shots.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, who could have thought they'd be able to track down that very not conspicuous vehicle they were driving?
Yeah. So then they get confronted by the Disco Boys, and this is the scene with the guns are all drawn, and then we get the appearance of the Sphinx, and the guns are all sliced in half, which again, that's a superpower.
I keep noticing Kel, as Visible Boy, he's wearing the shoveler's helmet. And I'm like, I never thought about it. I'm like, he's probably seeing the shoveler as his new father now.
Oh.
Like his father is it doesn't see him literally.
Yeah.
And he's reading the newspaper. And now here comes this older fellow who is like is reinforcing that you have powers and you're coming with us and you're part of a team now. And it's like we did something great together. And it's like I noticed like he's wearing the helmet. I'm like, I think he's wearing it like a kid would wear like their dad's work helmet now.
I believe in you, Dad.
Yeah, I think he's like the older son who like there could have been some dialogue about that where Cat Means like, here's this young black man. He's looking up to me too. Like, this could be my actual kid. If I don't mess this up, like that could be my kid who's like proud of me. Like, he doesn't look down on me. He doesn't joke, because we only see the youngest son. Yeah. We assume the older kids don't care as much. And the script is old. He has 2 older kids, I believe, that are like in their teens. They make fun of him and stuff. So it's so he probably goes, my youngest son still looks at me, still cares about me. My older sons think I'm a joke. And here's this young black man who's like, he's in my group now. He looks at me as a hero. Like, I look at him as like a second or the third, fourth son now. So I think that's amazing. Like, I never thought about like they're having their own little bonding storyline in the middle of this. And then the Disco Boys come and ruin it.
That's right.
With all their guns.
The Sphinx. Such a fun character. I love Wes Studi. Yeah. You know, I love the way he plays this character, because it is like, oh, you know, the whole joke about him being terribly mysterious, and it's like, that's it. The guy's mysterious. Like,
well, I heard he can cut guns in half.
Yeah.
His mind. That's something I heard. Yeah. But his power is he's terribly mysterious. Like, and it's just like, kind of is. Like, yeah. That is it. It's true.
But then I do like that Furious is right about the Sphinx. That
it's his observation
he's
skill
just
again.
kind of bullshitting his way through all of this and just telling riddles like a Sphinx, I guess.
But it does work. It
works. Yeah. It's such a fun addition.
The Blue Raja's never thrown a fork better in his life until he started hiding it under his sleeve for some reason.
It feels like you and your friends, you got drunk and you made Dungeons and Dragons characters, and they have horrible stats, but you're telling the GM, this is going to work. My character's going to throw a fork and it's going to work. And then it's like, and in this movie, we see at least everybody at one point rolls a critical. Like, Sphinx rolls a critical leadership when he needs to. Mr. Furious rolls the Fury mode when it's everyone who does that move. They do it perfectly when the time comes to it. And that's when you're like, holy crap, Champion City heroes can be real. They're not just idiots.
Yeah.
Gosh. So what I remember is Wes Studi, about a year ago, he did an interview, I think Variety, and they were going over his biography. And they clip on Mystery Men for a little bit, and they mention it. And he said that, he's like, hey, I've been in a lot of movies. I play a lot of serious character roles. He's like, but I'm not a comedy guy. He said, I'm not funny. He said, I know I'm not funny. And he says, I love that watching. He said, I would watch Ben Stiller, Gene Garofalo, and Paul Rubens, and Hank Azaria. He's like, they'd be in a corner and they're just doing jokes back to each other. And then they would say with a straight face, that's funny. That's good. He's like, I was laughing because I could hear all these jokes. To them, they were in such a, he's like, comedy was such a good like work effort for them. They knew it was funny and they were in total business mode saying, write that down. Like, that's a good punch up. He's like, I got to watch these comedy writers like do punch ups like in real time, like bing, bang, boom. Like, no one's like sitting back like, ha, ha, ha. They're like, that's good. Okay, good. That one in. And he said it was really amazing to see them kind of really make the humor and write those, put those like the timing perfect for all those jokes.
Well, and this group needs a straight man, because you can't have, like Mr. Furious can't be the straight man and be the angry one who wants to storm off, So it's a good, like, it's good to bring in the Sphinx when you need Furious to get angry and storm off and leave the group for part of the movie. So it's good. It's a good shift in the team that's now, like, the team has grown and they need leadership, and the Shoveler is like not there yet as far as being the team leader.
Yeah.
Shoveler is my favorite character though.
Okay.
I love
he's great.
everything he does.
Yeah. He shovels well. He shovels very well.
Very well. Like, he
what
never
does that even look
entertain
like?
me.
Does that just mean he goes like construction sites and just digs holes all day?
He digs a hole quickly or accurately or into fun shapes. I don't know.
Yeah.
He finds a way to shovel like he never gets like back pain from it.
Right.
Like when he's shoveling, nothing's gonna stop him. He knows a perfect way to dip, move your hips and your legs and your back and get that shovel moving.
So maybe like his superpower, whether he realizes it or not, is like knowing how to perfectly align his body to
Yeah.
do manual labor, and not get sore and not get,
Yeah.
but he turns that into shoveling.
We skipped over it a little bit, but my favorite section of him is with his wife right before the pool party.
Yeah.
Where
I'll leave you.
like,
I will leave you.
It's like fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Like it's like like that little dynamic with his wife. It just gets me every time.
I like him and his wife. The few times you get them together,
and even when it gets serious, and he's gotta, she's not gonna be there when he gets back, and if he doesn't go, then there won't be a home to come back to.
Yeah,
like it's like he's all over the place.
She's still there.
I love it. Yeah.
It's so good. I have to assume so many husbands watched it when they have a little hobby and the wife's out of town and she's like, I'll let you host for your poker night or whatever it is, but like I will come down on you if somebody ruins the carpet. And the husband's like, I'm so thankful that you're giving me this weekend with my boys to do our poker game. Thank you very much. Like, honey, I love you so much 1,000 times.
Yep.
It's amazing. Gosh.
So we're going to the Q of this universe, I guess. Here,
Heller.
Yeah.
I love Tom Waits, and I love that he's in this movie. And it's just a odd, quirky little character. He's at the old folks' home for the ladies, know. And then he's just this eccentric, non-violent weapons maker.
Yeah, he's just everything completely efficient, but not completely non-lethal.
Yeah.
Although that shrinking clothes gun could choke somebody to death.
The tornado bomb could you don't know where someone's going to land.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some more deleted scenes, and there was a deleted scene with where when Roy goes to the shoveler and he is a construction worker and they're boring a tunnel. So it's like, he does it for a living. And there's a whole they quote they have a mantra actually, but it's only in that one scene. And I don't know, it's like they say the mantra, they never do the mantra again. So I guess it must be between him, just the three of them, just him, Blue Raja, and the shoveler. But there's only little deleted scenes where they give you background, and it's one of those things where I like it, but it's great. The fact that the mystery men of it all, it's like you don't know, you just know the bare surface level of each character's history.
So, how did you guys feel about the waitress storyline? I could care less about that whole section.
It's on one hand, I like it because I like that Roy, he persists and then he gets the girl, but then at times it feels like he should just back off. Now looking at it, it's like he should back off and leave her alone. But it's that I'll just keep wearing her down, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But then there's when I watch it, in the middle of the movie, she is so cold to him and just mean and just I don't feel like she deserves him, But then by the end of the movie, she's very nice to him, and it gives him the inspiration that he needs. Well, tells him to be himself, and then it just ruins him.
Yeah,
I think when he breaks, when he's kind of when he's honest with her, I think she wants it when she starts seeing him being honest. I want to walk you home because I want to walk you home. No superhero pretense. It's the first time she's like, all right, I actually will see you as a person worth entertaining the interest. The script, though, there has some other things different. I actually kind of liked it, and that they could have, rather than her getting kidnapped, which is the damsel in distress thing.
Yeah,
I actually like what the original script did. I kind of wish they did because they reference it. Casanova has his mansion catered, and in the script, she's got a night job where she's doing that. And it would have made sense if she's like, oh, I have a night job, I have to do some catering. She could have said that.
Yeah.
He could have left. You could have had the Disco Boys watch. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
But you cuts to her later, and when Casanova is doing his talk, you can see there's waiters in the background bringing out plates.
Okay.
And glasses of drinkware, champagne. You could have had Monica there, and we could have had a few extra shots of her hearing Casanova and be like, wait, is this Casanova? She's kind of she's realizing
together. Yeah.
Is this the guy that the guy at the diner was saying? She just thought she's doing a catering job. She just shows up in the van. She's delivering food. Next, she's hearing him say Champion City, and they're like, oh, Casanova. And she's like, wait, I think that would have made her in the third act better.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Disco Boys tell Casanova they saw her with it. And so it's more, she's not such a damsel. He grabs her because she's already in his house. And he's like, oh,
hostage.
You're not a hostage now. Ha ha. I think that would have improved that better. And it would have made her like, rather just a damsel. She could have just been like, I have a second job. And he respects that. And like, hey, we're all working people. And then she's got a catering job at Casanova's. He's the one who's got all the food.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, because I was wondering how he got her in the first place.
They were
it's just assumed that she's kidnapped. Yeah.
Were they following him, and then they saw her, and then that's someone he cares about, so we'll grab her.
It was almost like she just materialized in the last act.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, how did he have time to go get this random waitress?
And yeah, it's like when she, at the end of not the end of, but when she sends him off and he says, I'm Roy, and she's like, just be Roy. She's wearing this really nice outfit. And it's kind of like she's dressed up as if she's going out somewhere. She's not wearing like just kind of like, I would say maybe more like dressed down clothes. I don't know. I'm not saying put her in sweatpants, but something where it'd be like, oh, I was in it for the night, but I'll come out and see you. This felt like she was getting ready to go out somewhere else. So I don't know. But yeah, it's like I wish it could have been better. So she is kind of like given like the least amount to work with. She just likes him because she likes him.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite scenes is when the group they get all geared up to go save Amazing, and goddamn, they just make a hash of it.
Well, do you like the gangs?
Do we see the gangs before that?
Yeah, they introduced all the gangs.
Okay,
and I had no idea Michael Bay and Ricky Rackman and CeeLo. Like I didn't know those folks were in it. I knew Michael Bay and CeeLo, and I think I recognized a few others. But
one of in the Asian gang, I don't remember what they're called.
Oh, they're the Susies.
The Susies, the Susies.
Han from the Fast and Furious franchise is one of those guys. They've all got makeup on, so it's a little tough to tell. But
okay, yeah, I don't think I would have known that.
Yeah, that was purely just like a IMDb thing.
Gotcha.
That's the only reason I know that.
I like that the gangs, as we mentioned, all had a theme, but like the frat boys that had like lethal hazing and like like they had like little backstories here and there. It was kind of fun, but again, it made me think of like campy Adam West kind of villains.
Yeah, definitely.
But things don't go as planned.
No,
and I love Greg Kinnear in this whole section.
Yes, he's trying to
he's trying to be patient.
Be patient for just long enough, and it's that I love that the switch flip the switch. Okay, now flip it for the second time. You
toggle it. How many
2 more times or
7?
Oh man.
Yeah.
And
we already know he's not the smartest, so he's getting flustered. I love the whole thing.
I think Janine Garofalo is the one that just makes that scene
scene
because she's so trying to break through. Like, do you understand what we're saying? Yeah,
and even Furious, again, Mr. Observation is there, but
I like it. It's capped off with
poor Blue Roger
with the shoveler at the end saying like I was standing over
here.
I
love that. What do you mean
we killed him. What's we? I was over here.
Oh, and the shoveler does it with the coins. He goes over and he actually eyes them up and he's like, I have to ask you, do you know?
Oh yes. Oh, I love that.
He's like, oh yes, it's me. Oh no, I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, he's still, yeah, shoveler's still gonna think that he's not Lance. I always wanted to say that.
For some reason, I always put this scene where Amazing dies way earlier in the movie, so it feels late. For this time around, it felt like, oh wow, like we've already built the team. We've already I thought the 3 of them killed Amazing before they even set up the team. That's why it always feels like it should come so much earlier, but.
We keep forgetting that this team was only made to rescue Captain Amazing.
Right.
They're not there to stop Casanova.
Yeah.
The idea was we stop Captain Amazing and then we can plan how to stop Casanova. Yeah. So it's
Amazing would then stop Casanova. Yeah. We just have to get
So it's like that's all that was it. The 3 of them can't do it against the Disco Boys. So all right, we get a team. Well, now he has several gangs. So we really got to sneak in. So the fact that they were able to kind of sneak in and on twice, I actually kind of say something about Casanova's security, how much he doesn't worry that anyone's going to attack. He's like, oh, I have Casanova, or I have Captain Amazing. Like, who's going to come? Like, no one even believes he's here. Oh my God! Now he's psychofraculated, and he's.
Oh. One of the things throughout the movie, the few times we get CGI, it's noticeable. It's not the best. But I think for this movie, I think it's fine. It does what it needs to do, and I like how they use it with morphing, Captain Amazing into this monster.
It is, but it's like the CGI being a little cartoonish kind of helps the fact that you're watching someone get psychofraculated. That something is happening that is immoral and like just unnatural.
Yeah,
because Allie's being warped. We're at no point we're like, is he dead? Is he alive? Is he turning into something else?
Yeah.
Like, and then when they cut back and his entire structure is gone, it's like, we don't even know how to process this.
Yeah, suddenly it's like the Thing, these monsters that get, it's like, is it still sentient? Does it feel this pain that it has to be in?
Yeah.
It's gruesome, but
and it's like, and now the stakes. Like when he says, I'm going to do it in the city, you're like, he's going to do that to the whole city. Like, you're just
one thing I do like is that after that happens to Captain Amazing, then if you look at the statues that happen to be inside Frankenstein's mansion, they look like things that have been fraculated.
Yeah.
They look like these horrific monsters that have been warped, but it's like maybe those were experiments,
Yeah, they could have been experiments. That could have been just that could just be something that's in his head. When he has this freak mind and then he hears there is such a machine, he's like, I must build that machine. So, I mean, that's how I thought about it. It's where I'm like, his whole mansion in the beginning of the film, like, I don't know, we don't know when he builds the psychofraculator, or he's been working on it for so long. He went to the psycho ward to get the last step. We're not sure of when he built it or how long he's been thinking about, but you're right. You go his mansion, there's not a single straight line in the entire place.
The scene where they all regroup at Heller's, and it's when the shoveler becomes the team leader, because he gives this great inspirational speech, that's about egg salad. It's like, this salad is loaded with cholesterol, and my wife wouldn't let me look at it, but like, if you're saying we're screwed, I'm just gonna eat this sandwich. But if there's a chance,
it's such a cheesy, like, heroic moment.
It's clearly based a little on the same the Shakespearean Saint Crispin's Day speech, I believe, where it's like, our stars of pride say, like, that's part of the Shakespeare line.
Okay.
But to rope all that in and to say that, like, if we have a chance, we should, we can't keep whining for Calvary. We are the Calvary.
Yeah. We're the other guys.
I love that. I do love this speech. Absolutely.
And I like that it's followed up with go visit your loved ones. We only get that with the shoveler and his wife, Blue Raja and his mother. And then I guess Roy and her name's Monica.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd kind of like to see what the Invisible Boy does, what
he's just talking to his dad. His dad's not paying attention.
Yeah.
That would be a sad scene to think about too. He says all this and he thinks his dad's watching, and turns out his dad's looking at something else. He's looking past him.
Got that headphones on.
Yeah. Oof. So, and then imagine like there could be a scene with the bowler. Like, is her mom around? Is her mom also, like, did she die of natural causes? Does she visit her? Does they visit the grave? I don't know. Right. It's like, there could be a scene there. So there's a lot to think about. And don't want us to forget, we got the Herkimer Battle Jitney next.
Hell yeah.
Like a top 10 comic book based vehicle. Like, I'm sorry, but like in the Marvel movies, it's just been like, there hasn't been many vehicles in the Marvel movies. It's either like an official military thing. The X-Men
movies non-lethal battle vehicle ever made.
It has not been beaten since the Batmobile.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Although, like, it feels like they should have already dealt with the Herkimer, like, because it feels like we're you get the inspirational speech, and then it's like, oh, we'll put the brakes on and we'll got to go fix up this vehicle for a while. Like it just feels like it kills the momentum, I think. But
I see what you're saying, but it also is that calm before the storm.
yeah,
You have everyone has their, you know, they have, our characters have their emotional talks, and then we have this like calm before the storm. But yeah, you're right. In the background, I think just once Dr. Heller says, "Oh, you have a Herkimer battle jitney," it's like he's on. I will be there. I will help. So I have to assume if anyone's whoever's done with their like having their final goodbyes, they're probably meeting him, and then he's giving directions on how to restore this thing. But I want about the Herkimer battle jitney. Razorfly Studios over the last year and a half, they rescued it from an actual scrapyard that had been rusting in. They restored it, and then about a month ago, I believe it was Cincinnati or Indianapolis, or somewhere in the Midwest. It was God, it could have been Atlanta too. I cannot remember what convention it is. I'll look it up later. They have a comic book and car convention, and that is the first time the Herkimer battle jitney has been like on display since. And I watched a video of the local news, and they're like, "It's the Mystery Men vehicle." I'm like, this guy doesn't know what the hell this is. He's like, "Oh, it's a Mystery Men vehicle, everybody. We all know what this is." It's
a Hergesheimer.
They called it like the
Jeep.
one. Yeah, I think he when he went to the Razorfly guys, "Oh, you tell us about the mystery vehicle, the mystery van, or something like that." It's like, mystery van, man, that's Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was Indy, because I know there's a manufacturer that does Batmobiles here.
No, maybe.
So I mean, like the inside of it was essentially like it was a cab, and they just built this a truck cab, and they just like took out the entire chassis and then just built this fake frame around it, and then the aluminum, I think it was aluminum or something like that frame in it. Like, it's just been rusting for years. So yeah, good. Thankfully, Razorfly Studios restored it. I guess I should try to, like, I don't know. He should do it. He should do a mini interview about that, because you know, car restorer guys, you always think about the famous ones, the Ecto, the DeLorean. You're like, they went like that. That was great that he stepped up and it was like, should give a shit and restore a move, not just make a replica. We're gonna restore an original on-screen vehicle. That's impressive. I'll give him a lot of credit for that. It's not since the one French guy who got like so much funding, he was able to restore the Lost World mobile command center.
Oh, okay.
He restored it, and what he did was so what he did was to make back the money, I think, if I heard correctly. I have a friend who was in a Jurassic Jeep group. They restored the 90s Jeeps.
Okay.
And he said that through the grapevine, that guy, when he restored it, what he did was he turned the front cab into a mobile home, because what he would do is he would open up the back and make that screen perfect.
Okay.
So what he would do is he'd bring it to conventions and he would just live out of it.
Yeah.
So he turned the front of it into an RV, and then he turned the back into a Jurassic museum.
Nice.
And he was able to like collect enough money where he could just kind of slowly pay it off. And I think, if I heard correctly, I think there was it was in Asia, apparently. There was a buyer in Asia that bought it, who said, gave him cash on the thing. It was like, I will pay for export to bring it over. So somebody in Asia, maybe China, maybe Japan, has it now in a private collection.
That's funny.
And they're just doing unspeakable things.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is they bought it. They gave him like apparently they gave at least several $100,000 for the whole thing. It's restored and it's a mobile vehicle. So yeah, we don't know. Some millionaire over in Japan or China or somebody out there bought it and had it transported. Like, he did it, I forget where he had it, maybe in Europe or South America, moved it, and then from LA, it got shipped to Asia. That's the last I heard of it.
I like to think that there's an RV park somewhere over there with it sitting out.
It's just a trailer park.
I had to only hope that there's some Jurassic Park collector that like has one of the most interesting vehicles in that franchise. Because I'll be honest with you, that's one of the saddest things about the latest Jurassic World movies. Like, none of the vehicles are like cool. They're just Mercedes trucks and Mercedes bikes or whatever. And you're like, what happened to the toys in the store? We had like a Humvee that had a grapple catch for the Raptor. God, come on. Don't you want to sell toys to kids? You want to have the cars chasing Raptors? Jeez Louise.
I did like the sphere thing they had in that first one, the remake.
Yeah. No, Sphere, cool. Yeah. But the sphere is like that's where the victims are, man. You're not
Yeah.
the heroes
Those are
are going to
hamster
drive it.
wheels. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hamster.
You want the
wheel,
cool Jeep with the Trank rocket launcher and the one that you can put Alan Grant in like a bucket seat. And he could like shoot like all the toy commercials. You're like, yeah, Grant was on the side just blasting raptors. I remember that.
That's true. 'Cause I guess even with the Jeep that was like a death trap, at least those Jeff Goldblum could look sexy in.
Yeah.
You can't look sexy in a hamster ball.
Oh man, yeah. Between him and Muldoon's shorts, man, they were going. There was some sexy ass men.
90s beef. So I gotta say, once they get they get all prepared. Yeah. Speaking of 90s beef,
there you go. Ben Stiller really doesn't want to be in that vehicle.
I do. I love the him losing his confidence, or it's not even. I guess
he loses his reason to fight because he's kissed a girl now.
Yeah,
and he's got something to lose.
Right. I gotta say though, I really dislike the costumes that they go into battle with. I love the looks of everybody. I mean, Mr. Furious is basically the same. He's a little slightly shinier.
Yeah.
But everyone else, like I love everyone's previous look way better.
I almost want to think, is that satire against the Batman Robin third act costumes? Where it's like, they're so used to the costumes. The costumes are worn for 99% of the movie. And you're like, I love these costumes. And they're like, we have to suit up for our final third act costume. Why? I don't know, but everything's shinier. You're like, I don't like how shiny it is. Like, the ones that are just, you're right, they're like a subtle upgrade. They're nicer. Like the bowlers, she went from like a green coat to like a spandex pleather coat. Yeah. Okay, that's not too bad. Blue Raja, he kind of got like a darker outfit. Maybe there's some blue in there from what we can tell.
There is, yeah.
And we're kind of like, we're kind of like actually, I'm looking up here right now at my action figure Blue Raja. He's got a blue coat. Like at least the toy says he's got a blue coat. And we're like, I don't know, kind of works better when he's got the yellow and green. And it looks like he made it, on his mother's, like on the old loom in his mother's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shoveler is the worst. He looks like a baked potato, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. The spleen looks like a 70s like disco superhero.
I like the spleen's earlier look because it was like a patchwork quilt kind of thing,
I think Invisible Boy has the most earnest one. His looks like the cover of a comic book draped over. I think he has the best upgrade of his costume because he wears his earlier stuff and it is very patchwork clothes. But when you see it, it looks like it's like a manga cover on his front. You see like buildings and sunsets and stuff as like the theme. And I'm like, his entire outfit is like a Michael Mann vibe. It's like buildings and sunsets and like big views. So his is the biggest glow up. Yeah.
The Sphinx is probably the worst.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. Blue lightning bolts all over it. And
not as mysterious, just really isn't.
A giant horsetail on his head. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's not even Sphinx themed really, except for the eye.
Yeah, you think you'd go like very Egyptian,
Yeah.
Yeah. There was the early drafts, they really played up the luchador of it all. And I'm glad glad by the time I got to West Studi, he's like, I'm not gonna do like luchador. Or maybe they were like, it fits better if he's not that silly. He doesn't talk in a luchador outfit. He can dress like one, but he talks in a very stern, serious voice.
Yeah.
That's where the comedy I think comes from, is just hearing a serious man say silly things. It's kind of like when you hear Patrick Stewart say silly things. You're like, oh my God, that's a voice that's reserved for very prestigious things. And Shakespeare and Engage.
The assault on Frankenstein, and them versus all the gangs and like using the weaponry. I guess it's the magnet that they use first to get everyone's guns.
Yes.
It's a fun like assault, sort of sequence. I really, really dig this whole finale and like all this, but
I like that they're still scared even though they're in an armored vehicle. Yeah. Like they're all not trusting it exactly.
Yeah, like it's working.
But Invisible Boy gets his moment finally.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, between Invisible Boy and the laser eye. I mean, the beautiful technology. I can't get over the flamethrower. That blade is such unique.
Yeah.
What a unique tool! Like it's so useful. 100% effective, 100% non-lethal. Just whatever it shoots, I love it. It just has a big tang, just and then all of a sudden everyone's just arguing.
I guess the one that shrinks their clothes, that one probably doesn't hold up now because it's just like
it's immature as hell. 100%. But if you're in an immature mood on a Saturday afternoon, you're like, I have to giggle at this when he says my pants are shrinking too. It's just the dumbest shit.
That's the part of Ben Stiller I just don't.
Yeah.
Where it's so cheesy like that, but I was confused as to why his clothes just fall off of him when he's invisible.
Because I guess he also goes intangible.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, but
it's like as if like he multi teleports into another dimension. I mean, you're right. That opens up. I mean, we have undead magic. We have transubstantiation, or I don't know, however it works with him. So it's like such a thing exists in Champion City.
Yeah. I like that he just like no one. Does anyone say like, okay, kid, you're up? Or no. I think he says like,
my time.
This is a job for me. Like I can do this. So and he just walks up with pure confidence and goes invisible. So it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, and I think the shoveler says, all right, kid, and then he's the one that first like turns around and says, no one look at him. So it's like when he hears the shoveler like give him the say like, all right, kid, like we believe in you. Nobody look at him, it won't work. He just clarifies that. I think that's so cool. All eyes are on him, and he said, no eyes on him. No one should look at him. Beautiful.
I like we kind of get like a little montage of just fight scenes. I love the one between the shoveler and some of the disco boys. Just the way the choreography of like him swinging that shovel around is really well done.
Yeah,
and his secret weapon,
the little spade. I think it also makes sense for why he's able to beat up the disco boys and Tony P, who seems the most competent fighter here. These are gangs that are so used to using guns. Yeah. So now they're reduced to just dance moves. Right. And he's like, oh, I know your choreography. Done. Like those first two guys are like, I guess we'll do a disco dance punch on him. He's probably like, he's known them to do that. So he's just like, stop, bang, bang.
Spleen gets another hole in his butt to, I guess, pump out more gaseous fumes.
Yeah, I like that even though he does get shot in the ass, he's like, okay, but I still I have a job to do.
Test the wind, air conditioning.
Yep, he gets real serious about it. Carries out his part of the mission, and then he passes out.
That's took a lot out. Now we get the bowler's vengeance against.
I forgive you, but my father he has other ideas.
Yeah, I love that part.
Yeah,
and then the waitress shows up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I do. If I had the ability to do another draft, I'd be like, no, go with that catering thing, because it puts her there more naturally, less a damsel in distress, and makes it less of like the entire disco. He said the disco voice, so I guess obviously Casanova's mad they screwed with his fraculator machine. He wants to but it's like, oh, grab their girlfriend. Why grab the girl? Like he doesn't have, because it's like. He doesn't think they're going to crash the house again, second in a night. So it's kind of like, what's it matter to kidnap a girlfriend if I'm psychofraculating the entire city? Like she will be psychofraculated along with everyone else. So I really wish they could have kept the idea of the catering thing. Yeah. She's a working woman. She's just like, and I forget, one of my guests even made a joke about that. Like, what if she had super strength, but she doesn't play it up because she's still got to work a 9-to-5 job?
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea of she's like, she could have Hulk strength. Like someone, I forget who it was. One of my guests was like, what if she just like punched the car out of frustration, but she doesn't draw attention to it. He does. And she's like, whatever, I still got to be up early tomorrow.
Yeah. It doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah. So she like has actual powers, and she's like, no, I want to live a regular life. I do not care.
See, to me, I think she should have the silverware power that Blue Raja has. If she's a waitress, I mean, it just fits better. She's really good at laying out the place settings.
That'd be a good like little joke. Like after he leaves, She like picks up the fork. She's like, I'm going to try to spin the fork.
Yeah.
The guy was really playing with that fork.
Yeah.
I think I love that it comes down to just a fight between Furious and Casanova. And he does get to the point of like real unstoppable rage. Like he does, he does reach that point. But I do wish that they had gone superhuman with it. Like give him a power, and that his power is actually like that adrenaline rush. Like he probably could lift up the back end of the Herkimer and throw it if he needed to. Like give him that like once in a I don't know.
Yeah, like mom and her crying child power.
Once in a blue moon, he can like lift a bus,
Yeah.
And I would like here, because then it would fuel their it'd become legendary, it would like be the rest of the team would talk about this for years to come. Like you threw the Herkimer at Casanova and crushed him, or something like that, where he does, because he gets angry, which we've already seen him do, but this time it's for real, and he just fights, so
he does fight. I mean, you're right. It's not the dramatic. A lot of this, I guess, because a lot of the special effects are being used for the city being psychofraculated right now. So, but I do like he got beat by a nail. He got beat by Casanova's nail.
Yeah.
So you're like, this is a nail that's fought Captain Amazing.
Yeah.
So at first round, you're like, I don't blame him. This guy's a villain who's beat up who's had fights with Captain Amazing and survived. So it's like this nail probably is a deadly weapon. And for him to flip him then on the second time, flips it Casanova on his ass.
Yeah.
By the pinky. Grabs his pinky, boom, flips him, got you. And then he's able to jump with Monica. They play the $6 Million Man tune.
Yeah.
And he lands. So it's like, okay, there is a little bit of superhuman powers there. And he doesn't go, oh my God, my back.
My knees are destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a little bit of superhumanness to that, but you're right. It's not. Yeah. You're right. It's not dramatic. It's not like we get just the smallest of little bits. Like, well, you really can't flip a guy with your pinky, and that would blow your knees out.
Yeah.
I thought Casanova would use some of the toys he turned off with Amazing.
Oh,
like some of the weapons that he's known to have, but he didn't really do anything except for his pinky.
Yeah,
it's got to be the pride. He just didn't think anyone could beat him and his gangs. He was just we're gonna have a big dinner, and I mean, let's look at it this way: he wants to psychofracculate the city. How are the gangs going to do anything if the whole city's fraculated? It's one of these things where I'm like, do the gangs know how serious the psychofracculation is?
Right?
Because they're like, whoa, you don't just you can ransom the city, but you can't just psychofracculate because then the whole city's we can't rule anything.
What do we do? Yeah,
we don't enforce anything if everyone's just psychofraculated. Are we going to get psychofraculated? Should I be concerned? How big's the psychofraculated blast wave? I'm concerned now.
Like these, the frat boys all have mothers. Like they're probably in the city limits.
Oh my God! Yeah, they're like, oh
no. Yeah, those 40-year-old frat boys.
Yeah. Well, they're probably, their mothers are probably at that nursing home.
Yeah, probably. I always wondered about like the fraculator because it seems to just emanate from that pit, and I don't know if there was like a room that was safe, maybe that he was going to.
Yeah,
it was like shielded, but the premise was kind of stupid.
Fires it up. Hits satellite. The satellite then beams it back into the. So he needed a satellite too.
It's a lot like the ending of Batman and Robin with Freeze's ice weapon that uses the satellites to. But I do like that they work together and they use the bowling ball to destroy it, and it is truly like that ball goes down the hole and then it like makes 90-degree angles. Like he's the ball itself, because it is a sentient thing. Like it is deciding like I'm gonna smash this bit, then I'm gonna smash this bit. So I like that it clearly is a magic weapon, I guess.
I think you can tell like an earlier shot of it was the green CGI of the can tornado.
Yeah.
So I think that originally they threw a can tornado down there. But probably like that wasn't as fun and dramatic as having the bowling ball.
Yeah.
Because it's better for her to do it. And I agree. It's fun. The upshot is you're not going to get killed because you're already dead. Like that's a good way of talking to your dead father. And I have to tell you, Dad, you're not gonna die because you're gonna get psychopraculated, and you gotta do this, Dad. You gotta do me a solid here.
Yeah, you're already dead.
Yeah.
The upshot, baby. Like,
Yeah.
But is he dead if he's still sentient?
He's just yeah. And I think there's got to be a character in a comic book that's like in a DC or Marvel comic that does something like this, that has some kind of undead parental or guide.
Oh,
but it's so funny. But like, it's so funny that in this storyline, he's annoying though. He's not like Dexter's father
Like,
in the
I
show.
wish
He's
he'd
like,
shut
Dexter.
up.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, fine, I will do it. I will avenge your killer. I then go back to grad school.
Yeah, and then at the end, he's still in her bag, and she's like, "What? No, I'm going to night school." Like,
very aware you saved the day, and we're sure here for the rest of our lives. Like, I'm watching it now. He's just like, and then boom, that's like the last line of the movie, and then bam, we slam and go into All-Star Go Play.
Yeah. Oh man. It's a fun movie, it's campy, it's weird, it doesn't take itself obviously too seriously, but it's got a lot of heart. I always have had fun with this movie. This time I did notice, like, I had a hard time writing notes for this one, and we kind of talked about, like, when we did an Austin Powers movie, it's like, it's how do you prepare notes for a comedy like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I found with this one, like, I didn't have a lot to write down, but I found myself just like enjoying watching it and not worrying too much about, like, oh, I better, like, note this scene. And plus I knew Dave was going to be on the episode, and we could just lean on Dave for a lot of content.
Happy to.
So
I think this is such an interesting film because it doesn't look like, it looks like a comic movie. It doesn't look like a comic book movie that we know about today, where it's like, oh, it's going to be, it has a heavy gray filter and everything's going to be doom and gloom, or it's, everything's going to look like an Iron Man iron suit. No, it has this absolutely unique look. And yeah, every time I watch this, sometimes I just step out of the movie and I'm not even watching the film. I'm just watching the background and the extras and the scenes, because I'm just like, so much work in the production was done back here. And like, there's no real commentary that really covers all of that. It's like, we didn't know how good that we did back then. We didn't know how much effort we actually put in, because nowadays that would be a green screen. Right. They would just, like, I get a little sad sometimes when they show you Sam Jackson. Oh, Sam Jackson on the scene from this, and it's him. And they show you, oh yeah, he was sitting in a chair and we green screened a hotel room behind him. Like, you green screen a hotel room?
Yeah.
You couldn't build a hotel room. Like, it's like, it just feels like you don't trust a set designer. Do you not? Right. And also it makes you worried. It's like, do they not know where Sam Jackson is yet? So we're just going to put him in a chair, and then we will decide where he is, if he's on a beach, in a plane, in a hotel. And I look here and I go, this diner looks amazing. Every time they go to the diner, they're in a different table. So it's a whole new angle every time. It feels like Seinfeld, where like every other time they go to the diner, it wasn't the same table. It wasn't like Friends, where there's that couch shot. It's like, no, sometimes they're here and there. So I love watching that in the film. And yeah, all these different scenes that one looks like it's a 80s. One looks like it's Black Rain, Ridley Scott's Black Rain from of Tokyo. And then, one is Batman Returns, and then another looks like a Tim Burton, a shot right out of Edward Scissorhands. And it all somehow works. You're all like, oh yeah, these are all part of Champion City. It's a multicultural, multi-genred city.
Oh yeah. I mean, like the last sequence, I thought everyone was from like the 1920s at the news reporters, and like the guy holding a random TV antenna on a yardstick. Like, I didn't know what was going on at the end of this movie. It was just like, everyone looked like a 20s or 30s, like, get up kind of thing. Yeah. But then you got the 1950s house with William H. Macy and the shoveler.
Yeah.
And then you've got more modern looking pieces. Like, it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
And there's like a Dodge Charger cop car that they do up.
I saw that.
So it's like, there's no, every 10 seconds, there's like something that's a different timeline, different genre, different look. And they do it so often that you're like, that's just, it all just somehow gels.
Yeah. It's like a
A lot of-
multiverse of madness kind of.
I noticed a lot of
city.
like the building signage looks very like Cyrillic, like Russian, very like they were going for like, this isn't necessarily America,
Their currency, I looked into it. The currency, I think, was Chinese coins with square holes that like some people they tie a string to. So it's like they're using old Chinese money as well. It's all mixed.
Mr. Furious does pull out paper money when they're talking about, let's all throw in $150, for publicity. And what he pulls out is like red and yellow, and like it's not like green bills,
it's like Canadian fake money.
Yeah.
It's just so cool that everyone takes it so straight face that you, the audience, are just like, this is a city that feels the most comic book. This feels like a comic book movie. I think that's why this is my favorite one, is because I think it captures what a comic book come to life would look like. That it's nothing's tongue in cheek. Nothing's like, is it funny how funny we are? And you're like, yeah, Deadpool, we get how funny we are. It's like I'm hoping Deadpool and Wolverine are gonna be good. Everyone who's an X-Men fan is hoping that more X-Men will show up. And do more cameos. We'll get like the original like X trilogy starters. But it's like, I don't know if we could ever get like satire funny anymore after this. This multiverse Deadpool, everybody turns to the camera and does a Chris Pine wink, that kind of attitude is just like, we're a little tired of it. Like, subtlety, guys, subtlety.
Let's see. Let's do some wrap up stuff. Let's talk about let's do most heroic.
I believe there's a hero in all of us.
I just finally know what I have to do.
That keeps us honest.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
Gives us strength.
You will give the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards.
Makes us noble.
And I know in my heart that it's right.
I want to put Mr. Furious is an easy one to put, but I want to go with Invisible Boy. I feel like when he's introduced to the film, he puts gas on the fire, because like I think they really meet him first. He says, you got to network. These guys have not networked. He's like, yo, I've been networking. I know people, and people who are like, there are some people who are actually interested in helping. They're not all just drunks.
Well, and he, there at the end, like I like that he has confidence in himself, but he doesn't know if he can become invisible, because he can't look at himself. And become,
he can feel it. That's about it.
That's like the Last Crusade Act 3, when like Indy has to take the leap of faith. Indy, you got to take a leap of faith, and he doesn't believe this, and he goes, for my father, I'm going to do it. And here it is for Invisible Boy. He's like, to save Champion City, I'm going to do this. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to become invisible. I'm going to turn that light off.
Or for his father, the shoveler.
Or his new father. I mean, like
his new dad.
Next time I watch again, I'm gonna straight up like be eagle-eyeing more of that now. Like, I always saw it more in the helmet, and it just finally clicked. I'm like, he's wearing the helmet the way a child would wear their dad's clothes, just like how proud they are of him. And the shoveler is probably thinking that too. Like, this young man is looking up to me, and I feel like $100. I feel like $1 million.
Yeah, Patrick, did you give a heroic?
No, but it does lead me to my Mystery Man superpower.
Okay. Whoa, shit! We got the Champion City Superhero Powers Exchange.
Dave's got a whole bit.
Man, I haven't pulled that bit out in a minute. Whoa, I mean, think of mine.
So it just came to me because I'm very often Mr. Contrary on my selections. So that would be my useless Mystery Man power.
Yeah.
Just irritate people with being, contrary to what you want to hear. But it's the weirdest scene, but it's the most heroic shot is of Invisible Boy and the spleen with the moon and the skunk humping.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But it's weirdly like a heroic shot. Like, it is the most bizarre, out of place piece of the movie.
Yeah.
It feels.
I totally forgot about that scene.
I say it honestly, it feels like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon come to life.
Yeah.
You can imagine just two goofy cartoon characters, and there's a skunk, and he's just like, brother, we got a deal. We just gotta go with it.
But that was weirdly like the most heroic looking shot of the movie to me.
Yeah, with Lily Opera.
Yeah, and it was just like, what? Why is this here? But at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm in for a weird ride, so I'm just gonna roll with it.
Right.
So that'll be my pick. Like I said, Mr. Contrary, nobody wants to be on my team.
Yeah.
This planet, these people, they are nothing to me.
You were made to be ruled.
The universe's power. You unstoppable power. Come to me, son of Jor-El. Kneel before Zod. And I am that force. I am that power.
In the end, you will always kneel.
Kneel before your master.
As far as villainous goes, I mean, I already said mine. It's you know, it goes to Captain Amazing for causing all this. You know, he could have just retired, you know, or stepped aside, maybe, you know, did something else with his time and just did superheroing as needed. You know, I guess is what he's doing, but he's not thrilled with the publicity anymore. He's losing sponsors and all that. So he's like, well, what if we engineer a way for me to have another villain and get, you know,
so good.
So it's a great, I love that that's part of his character is just like he craves this feeling and, you know, this continued adoration, I guess. So
yeah, it's like hubris that leads to a dumb, evil idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he wants his sponsorships to continue because he didn't hear about Pepsi dropping it.
Yeah. How about you guys?
All right, so villainous. Then I will put it as Tony P. How invincible he feels. That he has his power. That he is immune. That he admits to killing her father. And he has no worries that she could stop him.
Okay.
And it's so good. I think right before the bullet ball hits him, when she says, "I forgive you," and he actually goes like that. I never noticed it so much, but he actually makes a sour face. Like he's like, thought you would say something like, "I've come to kill." Like I think he's expecting like an actual throwdown, and she's like, "No, I actually forgive you." Like, all right, and you know, and while he's having that line, she says, "Oh, actually, well, Carmine doesn't."
Yeah,
he feels differently. So I love it that he hears like, "I forgive you," and he's like thrown off. Like, wait, I thought this would be a vengeance quest. Like, we're supposed to have a fight to the death. Because
he doesn't have any. He wouldn't know that the ball is possessed, right?
Yeah.
Well, he wouldn't know the ball was possessed. He might be a little worried, or because he goes, baby bowler, I'm the want to give your daddy the shaft.
Yeah.
Well, she has a bowling ball, and obviously, she throws it and breaks the windows. But he probably realized, wait a second, that bowling ball, like, how did she catch that ball? He probably just sees the bowling ball come through the window.
Yeah.
So he knows she threw a bowling ball through the window. He does not realize it's magic.
Yeah.
Undead magic. But I think he really thought that, oh, well, she's coming to get like we had in the limo. She wants her vengeance. And I think he's thinking it's going to be some straight up Mustafar, Revenge of the Sith level fight. Yeah. And she's like, no, actually, I forgive you.
You're going to chuck this bowling ball at you. Well, this ball itself is going to chuck itself at you.
So, I think he makes a sour face. So he's like, wait a second. And he's having that thought of, wait, that bowling ball was flying. It hovered and flew.
And his power was the power of hair care products or something.
I mean,
Was that what he said?
I don't know.
I'm protected by the god of hair care. So it's just vanity as well. He has all this vanity. Like, I look good. I have guns. I have a gang. And he's an actual. He's just like he's a 2-bit thug in a 70s suit.
Let's see, villainous. I'm gonna go with the Blue Raja.
Okay.
And his, I guess, his attitude of kiss-assery with Captain Amazing that makes him go and flip the toggle switch because he doesn't want to make Captain Amazing mad. And results in him fraculating Captain Amazing because he was just trying to please him, as his character seems to like really revere Captain Amazing.
He thought Captain Amazing knew what he was doing. I mean, like, I can't put that much blame on him.
But then he doesn't take the blame. He just I don't know. I think he should have caught more heat for that than he did.
Well, I mean, Bullard comes out later. Oh, sorry. Oh, I missed. Oh, sorry, English. So she does give him a little bit.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Mommy. I'm English. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it.
He literally killed the greatest superhero in Champions.
Right.
Yeah. You did. And then Spleen's like, you did it. He's dead. He like killed him. Like, he's just like,
like he had no remorse. It seemed like it was just done.
Yeah. I think he was thinking, well, we as a collective will take this blame. It won't all be put on one person because this was a group effort. But then everyone steps back and is like, no, you did it.
They were trying to talk him out of flipping the switch and talk through it, and he just runs up and does it because Captain Amazing's always right. I
do think when he at the end when he was like, all right, and he does like the when he at the end of that last like toggle flip.
Yeah.
When they're actually arguing with Captain Amazing, he just does it.
Yeah.
I guess you're right. That he does take the lead because that's what it was. Bowling, she's like, hold the phone. How many toggle flips? Like the bowler.
Like, I don't want to screw this up.
2 toggle flips that you counted for. Like she's like going at him like he's a barista that just like messed up the order. She's like, okay. What did you do when you went up to the machine? What is the switching? How many toggles in Toto?
There's a great, there's a great Rick and Morty bit where he's like, "Hey Morty, go flip the second switch on the right," and you hear flick, and nothing happens, and then you hear flick, and then he goes about his business. He's like, "Okay, so let me get this straight. When you went over there was an erroneous flick, right? And then there was a second, correct flick, and then they have to go to like some warehouse and like dispose of a bunch of dead bodies because Morty just flipped the switch on." Yeah,
nice. So he blue Raja'd them.
Yeah,
gotcha.
What I haven't even written down like what my rating for this would be. What do you got? Where are you guys at?
I got this
out of 5. Okay.
Yeah, I got it at a 4.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, but it's got some issues to it, and some of the scenes I could fast forward through, but it was entertaining enough. So I'd watch it again.
I would say if I'm allowed to do, I would do 4.5. If I'm allowed like 4.6, 4.7. Like I really feel like what it did, I think should be more commended than it's like. Yeah. I just feel like it how society and movies got made it better. I think it just makes it better, and I laugh more at it the more I see modern comic book movies. And I feel like this is like satiring them, and it did it 20 some years prior.
Yeah. Right on. I give this a 3.5. It's a fun watch. I've already said why I like it, and so what's that?
Wow, I'm not the low baller for once.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the best way to say is if someone's never seen it, as the fact that we kind of spoil the entire plot. But it's like if they haven't seen it, like I mean, it's a movie that you don't expect like what it's going to look like or sound like. It really does feel like it's such a different product of a comic book movie that I think people are so wired to like think of what a comic movie sounds and how it flows. And this really just has its own little thing. Yeah. I think it's what makes it so unique.
Absolutely. Overall, we give it a 4.03 repeating.
Repeating forever and ever.
No, it's just a fun movie to watch, and it's such an odd little movie, but it's got a lot going for it. So
hell yeah,
it's not your Nolan Batman; it's the other guys, But what else? Dave, what do you got going on?
Right now, I haven't been doing any podcasting or anything. I think there's a few other guest spots that people have asked me, and I'm very thankful they've asked me. So the only thing I recently did was I was invited to a pool party, a birthday party, and they wanted to do projector slides. So you had to make a PowerPoint presentation that someone else would read.
Oh, okay.
So I decided this summer I just finished listening to 50 miles per hour, and so I'm back on speed. And damn, is that movie perfect? Like like, so the 50 miles per hour guy, he interviewed a bunch of people, cast and crew, and it's like, yeah, I'm like, Speed is such a good high concept film. And I know the Speed guys who covered Speed Minute, I told him, you gotta check this guy out too. And it's the 30th anniversary. So I did a whole PowerPoint presentation just like earnestly telling people, Speed is so good, isn't it? So I felt really happy that we got randomized who got what presentation, But yeah, it was presented and it was very fun. So that's all I got really going for me.
Where can people find 5 Minutes of Mystery?
Yeah, so they can find it at 5minutesofmystery.com, at 5 minutes of mystery, or 5 minute mystery, whatever, on Twitter. I'm always around.
The links will be in the show
I'll
notes,
make sure everyone gets the links. And if anyone wants to now go talk more about the Herkimer Battle Jitney that recently got restored, I have the Champion City Lakeside Diners Club. Champion City Lakeside Diners Club, where I will post any new information I hear about the Herkimer Battle Jitney. So if it's ever coming to a Comic-Con near you, I would say go take pictures, send it to me. I will gladly post them.
Oh, very cool. I'm so glad we got you on, obviously, to talk about one of your favorite movies. And I mean, you're the only guest that could do this movie. So.
The one and only, yeah. I know.
There were no other guests were considered.
Oh, I appreciate that. I thought you had Sean German on the other line. You're like, well, if Dave cancels, we'll go bother Sean, and we'll just leave the mics on, and we'll all leave and just let Sean talk.
Let's see. So Patrick, up next we got another Bond. Oh
wow, it's been a while.
Shit, I just closed out. It's one of those middle era Pierce Brosnans.
Thomas Crown.
It's The World Is Not Enough.
The World Is Not Enough. Okay.
Yeah, from 1999. So that's what we're returning with next time.
Okay, it'll be like I'm watching it for the first time because I do not remember a thing.
Yeah, it's forgettable.
Yeah,
unfortunately, is not my wheelhouse for Bond.
Yeah, I think this is the one with Denise Richards as a Bond girl.
Yes,
nuclear scientist Denise Richards.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I really don't. I only remember. I remember the opening. I remember the opening of the film and him driving the boat, and he breaks his arm trying to chase the assassin lady. That's really it. And then there's a submarine at the end. They're like fighting on a submarine. That's really it of that. You're right. Of World Is Not Enough. Don't remember it too well.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I do honestly hope you have some fun watching it. I really hope you find some kernel of it wasn't too bad.
Robert Carlyle is in it, and he's pretty great. So
okay.
The villain is pretty good.
There's just so many Bond movies that it can get lost in the shuffle if it's not
it really
memorable.
is.
Yeah, it's not as goofy as Die Another Day. I will watch Die Another Day probably before I watch World Is Not Enough because it's so silly and it's and just the whole ice chase.
Yeah,
see, you remember the ice chase.
Yeah,
you're like he's got out. You remember that, but World Is Not Enough, you're like I got nothing. I don't remember a thing.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Denise Richards is all I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and it's just it was that very small period where we were infatuated with her. We Starship Troopers. She was just attractive woman there's nothing going on with her. She's just an attractive woman.
Well, I can't wait to watch this Academy Award winning performance by Denise Richards.
We've come a long way from her to Ana de Armas and No Time to Die, where I was like, shit, can we get more of her? Because I'm actually I'm very interested in Ana de Armas right now. And they're like, we have a whole movie on Apple TV Plus called Ghosted with her and Captain America. I'm like, that movie's bad. She does so much good CGI or spy stuff, but that movie's so bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So yeah, that should do it for this one. We'll be back with The World Is Not Enough. Dave, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me a good reason to talk about Mystery Men again.
Absolutely. All right, Patrick, anything else?
Should do it for us.
All right. Until next time, stay safe out there, citizens.
As the countdown begins to the 21st century, it's good to know there is still one number you can always count on.
Bond.
Bond.
Can't you just say hello like a normal person? Renard is behind this.
He will die along with everyone in the city.
We do not negotiate with terrorists.
His only goal is chaos.
I sent 009 to kill Renard. He put a bullet in his head. That bullet's still there.
He feels no pain. He can push himself harder, longer than any normal man.
No hard feelings, Mr. Bond.
It appears that you have been beaten.
Don't make this personal.
I can't do that.
I just can't help thinking I'm next.
New model?
The very latest in intercepts and countermeasures, and 6 beverage cup holders.
I've always tried to teach you 2 things. First, never let them see you bleed. And the second?
Always have an escape plan.
For the world's greatest secret agent.
You've defused hundreds of these, right?
When the stakes are high.
Yeah, but they're usually standing still.
Life's full of small challenges.
And the danger hits too close to home.
He has M.
By noon tomorrow, you'll feel nothing at all.
I thought it was your job to protect me.
It's not just professional.
Someone's tampered with the bomb!
It's personal.
I have to get it back, or somebody's gonna have my butt.
First things first. I'm gonna find him.
Who's afraid now, Mr. Bond?
I will not miss.
I never miss.
Do you want to put that in English? For those of us who don't speak spy?
Why am I suddenly worried I'm not carrying enough insurance?
Your time is up.
The world is not enough.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.